to our series where we unpack some valuable lessons from the world of property and business. And we are talking to property practitioner Colin Mansfield, who knows the property industry inside and out. Colin Mansfield, a warm welcome back tonight.
Thanks, and it's always nice to see you every Thursday. And I'm starting to enjoy these interviews more and more.
Well, it's lovely, and it's lovely having you here, and we are so enjoying the topics and everything that we can learn from you. So thank you for being prepared to share. And I'm going to jump straight into the next question then, which is this one. Why is ongoing learning and professional development so very important for somebody who is in the real estate industry?
And I've noticed all your questions are very astute, and this is no exception. You know, prior to the meeting, I summarized it into just 5 points, which obviously, you know, I'll digress here and there. But just the 5 most serious reasons, and I'm referring to South Africa. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you that keeping up with legislative changes is one of the biggest things that you can do as an estate agent. But over the years, our country has developed these really wonderful bits of legislation and stuff. And the cynics amongst the populace will tell you that it's only applicable to a few people and the rest just carry on as if this stuff doesn't exist. And real estate's no exception. So South Africa's property sector is governed by laws and regulations that change over time, including the Property Practitioners Act and FICA requirements, consumer protection legislation, and municipal regulations. And the PPRA, the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority, compels you to do continuing professional development every year, CPD for short, and it's in 3-year cycles. And then you get a choice of topics to learn about, and in doing so, you collect enough points. And you've got to accumulate points over 3 years, and then your next 3-year cycle starts. Last year was the first year that they allowed outside companies to start presenting training. And yeah, I see there's some potential in that. But they've got to get around this thing where 80% of this town are not doing continuing professional development. And so, you know, it's also difficult to judge if it has an effect, if only like a few handpicked people are doing it and being compelled to do it by virtue of your status as a fully fledged estate agent. Another big reason is that in doing so, this professional development, you are able to generally provide better service to clients. Well-informed property practitioners can give accurate advice on market conditions, financing options, property values, legal processes. This improves client confidence and helps consumers make informed decisions. I can't stress that enough, and it goes back to the word depth. People can quickly hear as you expand on this or that, or advise them on a bit of a contract or stuff like that. They can quickly discern, you know, whether you've got half an idea or not. It also helps you maintain professional credibility and trust. Clients are more likely to work with practitioners who demonstrate current knowledge and professional competence. Ongoing development shows a commitment to ethical conduct, professionalism, and high service standards. So that commitment word is sorely lacking in many people who aspire to be estate agents. Professional development also helps you adapt to market and technology changes. So people like me I'm 38, but I look 60. You know, we weren't born with a phone in our hands. The real estate industry is constantly evolving through digital marketing, virtual property tours, customer relationship management systems, artificial intelligence tools, and changing customer expectations. The most simple example of all of that mouthful that I can give you is that you can ride around for 30 minutes in your suburbs and you won't see a board. And that's just one indicator that how things have changed and how people shop in a completely different way. And if you're not keeping up and being a real fundi on this kind of stuff, you're not doing yourself or your career any favors. And that's why it's so important to be doing this continuous professional development. Then it also improves your career growth and business success. Without a doubt, professional development enhances skills in negotiation, communication, sales, marketing, and property management. So property management would typically where companies specialize in managing sectional title schemes, commercial developments, that kind of stuff. In other words, they would have specialized. And that's not for the faint-hearted. You've got to be really sharp, and you often find people that are working there that are qualified attorneys and quite often accountants. So in summary, ongoing learning helps South African property practitioners remain compliant, competent, competitive, trustworthy, and successful in a rapidly changing industry. So that's what I can tell you.
If you were to give somebody advice, let's just say they were being proactive, and instead of just relying on video training material and compulsory topics, what would you say would be a good avenue to follow as far as self-development is concerned to make them a better property agent? And this is also in line, obviously, with being professional and in line with compliance and things like that. But I can see that you've thought of something specific, so I'm going to leave it with you.
So you're psychic too now. There was a couple of nods. A long time ago, I didn't understand sectional title as opposed to full title. And my curiosity got the better of me, and I went and spent time with, and I've mentioned this before, the top guy in sectional title in South Africa, Professor Paddock, and who, while he was working and being a professor, also started his own company. And it was to offer courses that benefited estate agents and people like managing agents who are the people who run sectional title schemes and that kind of stuff, which is a highly regulated and highly, it's a tough subject. And that kind of course that often runs from a varsity, and it's under the auspices of a proper university, and the standards are there and all that stuff. I think those kind of courses add value. With technology, everything's online these days. There were times where I had to go and attend certain things, sure, but it's like everything in life. Learning courses, yes. and choose courses. If I lived in Cape Town, for example, and I was an estate agent, I would be really, really boning up on sectional title because it's prevalent there.
Yes. So you've identified areas of the industry that is very busy.
In Makwasi, yep. I'd go and learn about agriculture, selling agriculture, because it's also specialized, So yeah, okay. Identify and go for it. Yeah, that's what I say.
Yes. Wonderful. So it's actually a dynamic process because of changing circumstances, you are continually assessing what's going on, and that then will determine where you are going to develop yourself.
Yep. And you also need to have the right attitude, and you need to be open to things. The other day, you and I had a quick chat, and we were talking about AI, and I said that I wish I'd had AI when I was small, because I might have known more than what I know now, and whatever. There's people like you and I that appreciate it and don't take it for granted.
Yes.
That in my pocket, I've got so much knowledge, and you've got to train yourself to use that stuff, because people are just oblivious. They walk around and they don't know this and they don't know that. You've got to train your inquiring mind to be actively seeking out all this knowledge and stuff. And it includes courses. Yes. And if you come across the right course, or you go and look for the right course because you feel there's a gap in your knowledge, I can encourage people to go and do that. You mustn't only do the minimum that's required of you in our industry, because I think it lacks depth. That's my answer.
Well, Colin, that is a wonderful takeaway for anybody watching this. And I think you can actually carry this across a lot of industries as well. So we really appreciate your input. Thank you so much for that. And I'm really looking forward to our next topic.